Have you ever noticed that the foods that you try the hardest to avoid are usually the exact same foods that end up controlling you? The ones you overthink, mentally rehearse, or feel guilty about before you even take the first bite. The ones you promise yourself you'll be good around this time, until suddenly you're not. That pattern isn't random. And it's not because you lack discipline, it's because food has stopped being neutral for you. And when food isn't neutral, it can't be just fuel, it becomes emotional weight. Most people don't actually have a food problem. They have a relationship problem with food. And fearful foods are one of the clearest signs of that. Fearful foods aren't inherently bad foods or off-limit foods. They're foods that carry meaning, guilt, anticipation, shame, relief, control, rebellion. When food starts carrying emotional charge, it stops behaving like nourishment and starts behaving like a coping mechanism. And the body feels that immediately. Fearful foods usually develop quietly, often after years of restriction, dieting, or trying to do things right. When you restrict something long enough, your brain doesn't forget about it, it elevates it. Restriction doesn't create discipline in the nervous system, it creates scarcity. And scarcity creates urgency. Urgency drives overeating. Overeating creates shame. Shame pushes people right back into restriction. That loop has nothing to do with weakness. It's biology trying to protect you from perceived deprivation. Then we layer emotion on top of that. Food becomes predictable when life isn't. It becomes comfort when you're overwhelmed, relief when you're exhausted, distraction when you're overstimulated, control when things feel chaotic. Sometimes it becomes rebellion because you're on plan all the time. That creates pressure, and pressure always looks for a release valve. Food is just the easiest one, and without structure, food becomes the decision maker instead of the tool. This is where people get stuck, thinking they need more awareness, more tracking, more rules, more avoidance. But awareness without regulation doesn't create control. Tracking macros doesn't resolve emotional eating. Cutting sugar doesn't heal your nervous system. Avoiding alcohol doesn't teach restraint. Structure does. Systems do. Regulation does. And this matters especially when we talk about processed foods, sugar, and alcohol. Not because they're evil, but because of how they interact with your physiology and psychology. Ultra-processed foods are designed to be extremely easy to overeat. They digest quickly, don't keep you full for long, stimulate the brain far more than the body, and give very little nutritional feedback. They don't ask your body if it's hungry. They bypass those signals and tell your brain to keep going. Sugar on its own isn't the villain, but frequent, isolated sugar, especially without protein or context, disrupts appetite cues. It spikes blood sugar fast, drops it just as quickly, and leaves you chasing another hit. Alcohol isn't the devil either, but it lowers inhibition, disrupts sleep, increases appetite, slows recovery, and interferes with fat metabolism. None of these are a problem occasionally. They become a problem when they're used emotionally, frequently, and without intention. And this is where the conversation around cheat meals gets completely misunderstood. Strategic cheat meals can actually support performance, metabolism, and long-term consistency, but only when they're used intentionally. A true cheat meal is planned. It's placed near hard training, it supports glycogen replenishment, it reduces psychological fatigue, it does not turn into a multi-day spiral. What people usually call cheat meals are actually emotional eating episodes, reactive, secretive, disconnected from training, followed by guilt, compensation, or restriction. That's not a tool, that's a stress response. When cheat meals are done well, they're boring in the best way. They're anchored in protein, they prioritize carbohydrates over fat, they're eaten seated, present, and on purpose. They're one meal, not a window, not a day, not a weekend, and then you move on. No drama, no punishment, no cleanup phase. The body responds well to consistency, not chaos. This is also where the deeper mindset shift has to happen. Food is not a reward for being good. It's not a punishment for slipping up. It's not something you earn or something you make up for. Food is information. Food is fuel. Food is context. You don't reward your car with premium gas because you drove well. You don't punish it with cheap fuel because you missed a turn. You give it what it needs to perform. The body works the same way. When food becomes emotional currency, trust erodes. And without trust, nothing feels stable. People love the phrase memories over macros, but most don't understand what it actually means. Choosing memories over macros doesn't mean abandoning structure or eating everything. It means discernment. Birthday cake with your kid is a memory. A wedding dinner, an anniversary meal, a cultural tradition, that's a memory. Random snacks eaten out of stress, boredom, or exhaustion aren't memories. They're avoidance. Freedom isn't eating whatever you want whenever you want. Freedom is choosing what matters and letting the rest go without guilt. When you're deciding whether a food or a moment is worth it, the question isn't, does this fit my macros? The question is, will I enjoy this without guilt? If the answer is no, it's not worth it. Ask whether it's replacing a real meal or just stacking on top of one. Ask whether it supports the moment or just fills the space. The foods that tend to support both health and life are meaningful, shared, time-bound, and intentional. The ones that derail people are eaten alone, quickly, emotionally, and repeatedly. The goal with food isn't fearlessness or perfection. It's neutrality. When food doesn't scare you, excite you, control you, or define you, that's freedom. You don't need perfect eating. You need consistent, boring excellence with room for real life. You need a system that works on stressful days, social days, and imperfect days, because those are most days. And if food still feels confusing, if certain foods feel loaded, if cheat meals turn into spirals, or if you feel stuck between control and chaos, you don't need stricter rules. You need better systems. Systems that regulate your physiology, your psychology, and your behavior at the same time. That's exactly what I coach. Structure that works in real life, not just on perfect days. And when food stops controlling you, everything else gets easier too.